Welcome to Adrienne Ross Squared, squaring off from A to Z. Yesterday on the main channel, the Adrienne Ross Show, I said that I would do a video on this channel in which I talked about why people associated with the WNBA and women's basketball in general, including Monica McNutt, always seem to stick their chest out and praise the physicality of women's basketball. Well, now they kind of substitute, they go back and forth between physicality and competitive spirit. Like competitive spirit is now the phrase to be used as a synonym of physicality. So we're going to get into that today. Now, for those of you who don't know, maybe some of you aren't a part of the main channel, you don't know. On Tuesday evening, the Indiana Fever took on the Connecticut Sun. The Connecticut Sun decided to come in and display all manner of physicality / competitive spirit. So we saw that in the way of J.C. Sheldon riding Caitlin Clark like a horse. We saw eye gouges. We saw people pushed to the floor. We saw officials who didn't do enough. And then we saw Sophie Cunningham, Caitlin Clark's teammate, decide, well, if the officials aren't going to do anything, because Kathy Engelbert hasn't done anything and Adam Silver hasn't stepped in and done anything, well, then I guess we're going to have to do something. And she called herself Weir because she did something. Now, Monica McNutt weighed in on it with Mike Greenberg on Get Up, and she praised the physicality. Well, the physicality that she liked, and then she rejected the physicality she didn't like. So first, I'm going to going back over to that conversation with Mike Greenberg. I'm only going to show two tiny snippets. We're going to talk about it. And then we're also going to bring in Sanaya Rivers, who is a rookie in the WNBA who plays for that Connecticut Sun team, and what she had to say. Because listen, sports, as I always say, are a microcosm of society. There's a reason why physicality among these women is exalted. So again, over to YouTube, go on to ESPN's YouTube account, and let's hear what Monica McNutt had to say. As you see here, the title of this video is Monica McNutt applauds intensity and defends competitive spirit after Fever versus Sun scuffle.
Standing. People will watch this and they will ask questions. Again, I defer to you and some of the other experts who understand this league so much more intimately than I do. Was what we saw last night beyond the pale, or was that just good, hard, competition?
I'm okay with it. I think, again, you got.
Okay, gonna stop right there because I don't want to get into all the video footage again. You can find it out there if you haven't seen it yet. But she started off right away with, I'm okay with it. We find out she's only okay with it when it's people, she doesn't mind getting knocked around. But anyway, I'm okay with it, she said. Okay, so then we're going to fast forward a little bit more, hear what she has to say toward the end of this clip.
Yes, but I, Greeny, continue to say competition is not always pretty and buttoned up, right? And then I think the other part too, as Caitlin continues to matriculate through her WNBA career, if you have a mic on her in game, she's a trash talker too. And so I'm okay with competition. I didn't like the play by Sophie Cunningham. I thought the teammates coming to their respective teammate in the first little scrum was okay. I did not like the play by Sophie Cunningham.
So let's dissect this. So notice what she does there. Competition is not always all pretty and buttoned up. The physicality is not always attractive. That's number one. So it's okay. That's what she's saying. She already told us it's okay. She actually said, I'm okay with it. But I want you to notice something else, how she ran with the narrative. Well, Caitlin Clark, if she were mic'd up, you'd know she's a trash talker. And you hear several people have said this over the course of Caitlin's career. Now, look, players on the court sometimes jaw at one another. That's a whole lot different from someone feeling that it's okay in the spirit of competition and the praise of physicality to poke your finger in their eyes, to body them, to push them on the floor. That is not okay. And that is not the price you pay for jawing on the basketball court if it's going back and forth. That's a whole lot different from putting your hands on somebody. And then your answer to that is it's not always pretty and buttoned up. Well, then you got Sophie Cunningham. Well, I guess what she did is not all pretty and buttoned up either. But somehow, for some reason, Monica McNutt has a problem with Sophie Cunningham. It's okay what everybody else did. It's okay Caitlin getting poked in the eye. It's okay. That's okay. But Sophie Cunningham, oh, that wasn't okay. What happened to not all pretty and buttoned up? What happened to that? What happened to J.C. Sheldon running her mouth all the time? And so she got that. What's about that? That's how you know this whole physicality and competitive spirit is a bunch of hogwash and hypocrisy. I'll talk more about that. Now we're going to go to Sania Rivers, the rookie for Connecticut. I'm going to go to Instagram, ESPNW's Instagram account, and this ESPNW quoted Sania Rivers, apparently something she said on a TikTok live. So ESPNW's caption, Sania Rivers shared her thoughts on Tuesday's Sun Fever game on a recent TikTok live. And look at the quote right here. Y'all love that SHIT in the NBA, though. It'd be cool when the dudes do it. Again, y'all love that in the NBA, though. It'd be cool when the dudes do it. And therein lies the issue. You hear over and over again, women like rookie Sania Rivers, who really should button up, sit down, and learn something first since you just arrived. But you hear people like Sania, you hear people like McNutt, you hear other people in the WNBA or associated with the WNBA or women's basketball in general, college basketball, commentators, media people. They love to say, hey, if it was a dude acting like that, everything would be okay. You guys expect women to sit back and be quiet. See, when I watched the WNBA in the early days, you didn't hear all that talk about physicality. Now, I understand that basketball is competitive. I understand that it's physical. I understand that women want to compete like men want to compete. But there's something different in the culture that manifests also in sports, just like it manifests in the business world and perhaps the medical world and the education world, all this stuff. These women, athletes, there's a chip on their shoulder. This is why they praise physicality so much. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not about being so tough and so, and I'm this and I'm that. It's about insecurity. Women, especially women who play basketball, have heard over and over again, and they're still hearing it. Nobody wants to watch women's basketball. Men are taller, men are stronger. The game is better. It's much more enjoyable. These women, get out of here with that. I don't want to see that mess. And women have taken that and said, yo, we just as good, just as strong, just as talented. We can ball too. And you guys want to tell us to sit down and be passive and be quiet and all that stuff. If it were dudes, you would be okay. But because we're women and you want us to sit down and shut up, we're not going to do that. We are the physicality people. It's exactly what it is. It's about the fact that they think that being so physical and being so loud and obnoxious and gouging and throwing down and all this stuff, they think that they're going to get respect as being tough athletes from that behavior. But they're not reading the room because the vast majority of people don't want to see that. The vast majority of people don't want to see women throwing other women down, poking women in the eyes, talking about how they can play and they're just like the men. And It's not what people want to see. And people definitely don't want to see what they saw on Tuesday night, where you got your child at courtside looking at Caitlin on the floor because you decided to gouge her eyes out. People are like, that's okay. I pack up my clothes. I pack up my money. Done with League Pass. I'm out of here. And you're hearing it over and over again. And they cannot figure it out because they're too busy trying to praise their physicality and how they are just as good as the dudes on the court, that they're totally missing that people are not attracted to what they're doing. People are attracted to a Caitlin Clark, for example, because she doesn't represent dirty basketball. I don't care if she runs her mouth on the court like that. A lot of people are running their mouth on the court. But Caitlin's not out there trying to throw anybody down and poke them in the eyeball. She comes with skill. She comes with finesse. She comes with an exciting brand of basketball. She's not trying to be LeBron James in terms of, I'm so physical. It's not about how physical you are with these ladies who are constantly praising physicality. It's about how weak they are. It's about how insecure they are. It's about how they want to say we're just as good as the dudes, and you've got just as much enjoyment from watching us because we are like that. And people are saying increasingly, no thank you to that. But I'll watch Caitlin Clark and other people who can ball. This stuff where you're like, if the dudes did it in the NBA, you'd be okay with it. And like I said, sports are a microcosm of society. And this wasn't the conversation way back then. They wanted to ball. They wanted to be respected. They wanted their game to do the talking. It wasn't about beating their chest, pretending they're Tarzan, and be in the NBA. They were glad to be the WNBA. But it's like that in society. Society has got increasingly like, well, I can be just like the men. If it's the corporate world, you find women who are just like, well, the men will do anything to get to the top. So my goodness, I'll do the same. I'll be nasty as I can possibly be. I'll tear down those who are in my way because I am woman. Hear me roar. And I'm just as smart as the men, and I'm powerful as the men, and I'm so empowered. And this is how I'm going to demonstrate it. And it's highly unattractive. That's what they feel they have to do, and that's what they're hanging their hats on. And I don't care if it's, like I said, the corporate world or the education world or the medical field or in society in general, there's this mindset that, well, if we were men, you would respect us for it. So I guess we'll just pretend to be and do all these things. And it just shows how weak you are. Just like you can walk into a room and they say the loudest person is the most insecure. These people like McNutt, who's like, this is not all pretty and buttoned up. We can do it. We got hair on our chest. That whole thing. And Sanaya Rivers, little rookie, talking about, everybody praising this mess if it's in the NBA. Insecurity, and you're trying to gain respect. And people are not going to respect you because you're trying to be all bully. It's not what draws respect out in the business world and the education world, all that. And not in basketball either, believe it or not. Be competitive, be tough. Stop trying to prove that you're just like the dudes in hopes that that's going to make somebody watch you, going to make somebody respect you. It's a turnoff. And the sooner you realize it, the more you can just be comfortable in your own skin and demonstrate your skill and stop saying, oh, I'm okay with it. Well, except for Sophie. Like, Sophie can't do it. That's why I said it's hypocrisy. Sophie can't do it. That's not, that's just not pretty and buttoned up. That, I don't really care for Sophie, but the people who want to bang, Caitlin around and bust her in the head and in the eyeball and all, those people, I think it's just fine. And they adjudicate it just fine. It's good. But Sophie, no, we're not tough enough for Sophie. They're hypocrites. They're weak. And that's why you're hearing all the physicality that somehow developed as time went on and as culture changed. They're not reading the room. They want respect. And folks are not going to respect that. The only people, I'll check myself there, the only people who will respect that are people who think just like them. You ever notice how all the people talk about they're welcome to the W? For those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, the WNBA, those of you who aren't on the main channel, the WNBA, Diana Taurasi, oh my, what I remember about her is when she punched me in the chest. And, you know, the only people who respect that nonsense are people who think like you. It's not respect. They're just agreeing with your ridiculousness because they have the same ridiculous mindset. So if you've ever been wondering why all the physicality talk and all the now competitive spirit stuff that really, you know, there is a competitive spirit, but they have bastardized the phrase to mean physicality, all that stuff, it's just their way of thinking you don't know. But many of us can see they demonstrate they're looking for you to accept that they are worth supporting. And all they're doing is turning people off. This is Adrienne, and this is Adrienne Ross Squared, where I square off from A to Z. Thumbs up this video if you like it. Subscribe to the channel right here if you haven't done so. And if you're not subscribed to the Adrienne Ross Show, where sports and culture connect, I encourage you to do that as well. The link to the main channel will be in the description of this video. I'll catch you next time, God willing. God bless you abundantly.